Good morning, everybody. I'm here with the amazing psychic Liz Cross. How are you doing today?
It's early and it's cold. How are you?
It is early, but it's not cold here. Um, so today we're going to do a listener request, but for health related stuff. On the Discord for our Patreon members, I actually have a few different channels, one for crypto, one for health, one for like all of my videos kind of in one place. And the members have been, kind of submitting or suggesting things to probe health wise. So I thought I'd collect a bunch of them. We're going to do kind of like a fishing expedition here where we're going to touch on everybody's, request or suggestion. And if we find something that's really cool or that scores high or whatever, then we'll dedicate maybe a bigger probe to it. So we're going to go through these to at least get everybody's stuff to get a little bit of information on it. So I want you to bring in our resident health expert, Mai Wen Ho, if you can. Do you have her there?
Oh, yes, I love her. She likes being here for us too.
I'm glad to hear that. All right. So the first one on our list is has a funny name. It's called I don't know how to pronounce it, Guggulu. But it's really myrrh. It's resin from a tree. So in the Middle East, they burn different types of resin for incense. Some people would be more familiar with like frankincense, myrrh, like the gifts that were given in the Bible or the biblical times, right? So that's really what this is. But I guess it exists in not only just the Middle East, but also in India. So in the East, this it's like a resin that comes out of the tree, and then you can either burn it or you can turn it into an extract, which is used in Ayurvedic medicine and different things. So they sell it as a supplement now, obviously in the West, so you can buy it in like powder form or pill form. And yeah, you can. It's not doesn't look like dried raisins as you as you mentioned when I first put it up on the screen anymore. So let's ask Mei Wen Ho. This Guggulu as a supplement on a scale of 1 to 10, what does she think of this? Out of all the things, supplements we could be taking or health practices we could be doing, just an initial, how does she feel about it?
She doesn't like this stuff.
Okay. Now, is there a
It's
particular
toxic.
interesting? Okay. So, I mean, it's touted as a lot of different, what it is, I think, from my understanding, like so when the resin comes out of the tree, actually, it's almost like the, what do you call it? The immune system of the tree in a way. And so like it protects the tree or the plant against invaders like parasites or bugs or disease, right? And so I guess the idea is that when we use this stuff on us, it can have a similar effect. So does she not agree with that?
No,
Okay. What is it that's toxic about it?
it's not good. It's what is toxic about it? It's not good for the liver. Like you only need a very, very tiny amount. She says too many people are taking too much.
Okay.
It's not good for the liver. It's not whatever this is, and I still don't understand what it is, but that's okay. See, look, there it says about the liver, right?
Yeah, it says,
So,
well, it's saying it detoxify and protects the liver, but let's ask about like small doses of this stuff. Does it have benefit in small doses?
is there benefit in small dose? Yes, very, very small micro dosage, but it really doesn't resonate with our DNA, our body. You
Is
know,
that,
when you take something and the body doesn't know what to do with it.
uh-huh.
It's kind of like that. You remember
Okay.
in a probe we got before where the body reads whatever it is that's being ingested into the
Yes,
body?
correct.
It's a mismatch. So it
Right.
does have a little bit of benefit, But overall, you have to be careful because it's toxic.
Okay. And so when it doesn't have a biological match to us, is that because it's from the specific tree that it comes from is just like a complete mismatch to like human DNA or biology?
Is it because the tree that it comes from is a total mismatch? Yeah, it's not meant for us.
Okay.
It really isn't.
I think like it's definitely was used as a like an incense, like an incense, to burn it, definitely.
Oh.
Also, so I think that's how a lot of, it was used in ancient times as well. So is there any benefit to having it burning and us, obviously not inhaling it, but like, to have it as an incense? Is that more beneficial use for it, or is it still problematic?
Is it beneficial to burn it? No, it really, she says there's a lot of better things out there.
Right. That's what I was kind of thinking too. So it may have some benefit, but there's probably better things you could use for the same
Mm.
issues that are more better, that line up better with our biology. Okay. All right. Well, let's
But
move on.
that was interesting though,
Yeah,
right?
interesting.
I've never heard of this stuff.
Yeah, I've only heard of it as like an incense being burned. I hadn't heard of it necessarily this particular one being used as medicine, but it's interesting. Okay, the next question is about male pattern hair. Well, I guess not just male. I
Oh.
mean, it happens to both genders, pattern hair loss. I just for some reason
Mm.
it pops in my head. Now I think they're, for males and females, it probably happens for different reasons. But they're asking, what is there something that's really effective that we can use to combat the alopecia or, there's different types, I think. Like for men, I think it's androgenic, meaning that we there's certain hormones that are happening there that are male hormones that aren't functioning, and then we start to lose the hair. And then for women, it's a little bit, I think it's different. I think it's a different process. Um, Now I know that, or I've heard that, and we've talked about metformin before, uh,
Mm.
which is like, people are using it these days as, for diabetes. But I found a study saying that low dose metformin can help with some of this alopecia or, pattern hair loss. Can we ask Mei Wen Ho, is this true? First of all, can it help low dose metformin with alopecia?
Can low dose metformin help with hair loss? It can. Okay. Because this metformin has anti-aging properties.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
more about anti-aging than anything else. I'm
Yeah.
like, why do people like why do as humans do we have to lose hair? Like why? I've always wondered that. Why do we need to lose hair or have thinning hair when we get older? What's the benefit in that?
So what can we ask Mei Wen Ho? Is that all? Is it sometimes is it genetic, or is it just like the environment that's negatively affecting us to cause that happen in old age?
Is it the environment? It's the way that we're processing nutrients. So as
Mm,
we're getting older, our body is not as efficient at processing nutrients. And it tends to go through like a sorting line. Well, we need this for right now, you know? But the other things that are good for hair and nails, they tend to go to the back of the sorting line.
you're right.
If there's energy left, because digestion, and I said this last night, I think on the live show, digestion takes a lot of energy from the body has to have a lot of energy to digest food.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what I'm getting is it like, what's the most important nutrient need at the moment? And it tends to focus more on muscles, organs, thank God, um, tissues, things that we are absolutely essential for us to stay mobile. And the other things, they go to the back of the queue. And it just the potency of what I'm getting of the nutrient sort of lose, the longer it's waiting to be processed. And I'm saying, but does our digestion slow down as well as we're getting older? Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Digestion slows, metabolism slowing,
Yeah.
and obviously there are genetic factors as well. But digestion is slowing, and it really is just those nutrients that are pushed to the back of the queue are not as effective. So I have to ask this, would it be most beneficial if we got up in the morning and we exercised, right? Because that's the optimum time to exercise is on an empty stomach, even though I know for some people that's really hard, but it really puts the body in an optimum state. And I'm sure you know more about that, Mr. Photon. And then we have the first nutrients that enter the body are those that are catered to, like hair and nails. Would that be, she says that's very beneficial. Why is it when we wake up in the morning that exercising on an empty stomach or relatively empty stomach is like puts our body at optimum level? Why is that, Mr. Photon?
Well, I would, we can ask May and hold this, but I do like that's kind of what I do is as I wake up and I in the sunrise, that's where I do a little bit of moving my body, but I don't do heavy exercise at that.
No.
I save that for the afternoon actually, because heavy exercise, like if I'm going to be sprinting or lifting weights or doing, like vigorous exercise, whatever that is for you, I save it for the afternoon because that's actually technically when your body is most has the most coordination, and it has the best ability to handle that heavy load at that time. But in the morning, you're right. I do some like movement, some lighter movement, maybe that more looks more like yoga or qigong or something
Yeah.
lighter, whatever that is, like a lighter thing before I eat breakfast.
So yes, it's like getting the body in flow, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
and also you're still like you're in a fast still also
mm,
from the night before, right? So you haven't quote unquote broken the fast or eaten breakfast, right? So you still have those benefits from being in a fast. And when you do that fasted exercise, you're like increasing some of those benefits.
mm.
It's like a simple way to put it, anyways. Um, okay, so back onto hair loss though. We know berberine. We pro berber. Oops, I lost my. There we go. Berberine. Where is it? There it is. Berberine is an alternative to metformin that's natural. It's not a pharmaceutical, and it's made from compound in plants. Um, and it's all people take it for anti-aging and also for things related to blood sugar and diabetes also. We've probed that this one's good too, but is it also effective for the hair loss as well, like metformin is?
Oh, berberine. Is that effective to for the hair loss? Does taking berberine help with hair loss? No, I feel like taking berberine helps with metabolism.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. I was just wondering because they both, metformin is similar. So,
Hmm.
what about, can we ask Mei Wen Ho about red light therapy for hair loss?
Ooh, red light therapy for hair loss. How does that? I mean, that does help. It does, but it's a very long, slow process, right? It's going to take a very long time to see really good results.
So it would be a supplemental thing to making sure you're getting the proper nutrients delivered to the follicles of the hair.
Is it the about getting the proper nutrients to deliver? Yes, it's about the nutrients that target hair and strength of hair. Um, so
So
would that,
would she say that those nutrients are specifically like oh what's the terminology I'm looking for? Like micronutrients?
are they my, yes.
Right. So there's a lot of like stuff that we take for granted that's not in our diet anymore, like mineral wise. And there
Mm.
are some, maybe we'll have to do another probe on these supplements that really offer like a big dose of some of these micronutrients that are very hard to get in our modern diet these days. There's some, there's some different compounds. So maybe we'll have to come back and do another probe on that. Okay,
Hmm.
that's what I just everybody's deficient in these micronutrients. So, um, okay, let's move on to the dream machine. So this is
Oh,
I actually was not aware of this device, but
oh,
it's a it flashes light, and you close your eyes, and
oh God.
it puts you, yeah, I know, it puts you like at first I saw it, I was like, I don't know if I'd want to use that. But it does like simulate different brainwave states that are, related to, I guess maybe theta. I'm not sure, I can't remember now. That are related to the brainwave states you are when you're in the dream
Hmm.
state. And so you can have like a waking dream, without taking any sort of, funny substances, right? And actually, it was funny. I wasn't aware of it, but then I looked into the history of it, and I don't know if I have it here. Yeah, this person back in the, I don't know if it was in the 1800s or early 1900s, but they developed this device. I think this is the new one, but it works similar. They put like a candle inside this revolving kind of like thing that created flicker. And so inside where the candle was, they would rotate this cylinder around with like cutout shapes on the outside, and it would create like a flicker effect, um, more so than the candle does by itself. And then it was the original way that they developed. You could like change the brainwave state and kind of have these waking dreams. So it's an older technology that they've now upgraded to have it with LED lights. Um, so I don't know exactly what I want to ask about this. Can we ask Mei Wen Ho, as far as doing it with this light, is there any dangers associated with using this LED light flashing at you?
Is there any danger with this LED light flashing at you? I mean, it can cause problems. It's, if your brain can't handle flashing lights. I
Yes,
know
like
that
the
my
seizures.
brain, not that I'm prone to seizures or anything, but give it a rest, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I can't sit there looking at like strobe lights and stuff like that
yeah.
for too long because it just irritates my brain. It makes my
Same with
brain
me.
ache.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I'm
Um,
wondering why they do this instead of binaural beats.
So I think this is a way more intense. Like this is actually I watched some videos of like testimonials of people, and they're saying like you're literally, it's like having a dream when you're waking. So you're seeing like some people are seeing like vivid imagery with their eyes closed, but still conscious. So whereas binaural beats, maybe you'd be able to somewhat get into a state like that, but not as intense where you're literally like dreaming while awake. At least that's what
Mhm.
they report. I've never obviously done it, so I don't know. But is this an effective tool to, I don't know, can we ask Maywen Ho to like retrieve information or become more creative, or, is this, what's the benefits of this? I guess we should ask her.
Is this an effective tool to be more creative? I mean, it basically does force the brain into a dream state,
Hmm. Okay. So what are
but
the,
it's hard to snap out of it. That now she's saying, uh, how do you reverse it out? How is your brain locked in a dream state?
well, that's a
Uh,
good question, actually. I didn't think of that.
hmm.
So if you're like manually putting yourself into a dream state when you're supposed to be awake during the day, I mean, is that messing with your daily rhythms, like your circadian rhythm or your
Circadian.
natural cycle?
Your circadian. Yes, it does interfere with it. So, like if you've had your sleep for the night, you wake up and then you start putting your body into a dream state, say about noon, then your body, your brain thinks, oh, well, we've slept. So
Right.
we don't need to sleep again. It really will affect your sleep patterns if you do it too much.
Right. So definitely that's what I was kind of thinking is that there's some sort of, by forcing your body to go into this state at will, if you do it enough times, it's probably not a good idea. And probably timing would be good. Like maybe if you were going to use it, could we ask Mei Wen Ho, would you want to use it before bed? Would that be a better time to not affect your rhythms?
Mm. Would you use it before bed? Would that be the best time? It would.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I don't know personally that I would mess with this, but for, maybe obviously someone out there is interested in it. So just that caution that if you are going to use it, you can mess up, your rhythms if you're using it in the middle of the day. Uh, all right. Let's move on to the next one. So this one is a video here, but I'm not going to play it. So this is an Orgonite pendant. So let me explain a little bit
Oh.
how these supposedly work. I don't know if they work. We're going to find out. So first of all, it's like a pendant that you wear, or sometimes they have a piece of, like it might be a pyramid or something that they've made with the same contents. And what it is there's a bunch of metal inside. So it's usually like copper or steel in
Mm.
some configuration, right? And then they're going to pour over an organic resin on top of that. And then they're going to put crystals in there as well, crystal shavings. So they'll use, like quartz or uh,
Oh.
different types of whatever they think is the good one to use. So I don't know if this is. I'm just giving you the theory behind it. So the metal is supposed to basically um, give you like bring in the positive energy, if you will, and then the organic matter is like the negative energy that is attracted to it, and then the crystals kind of are like the balancing component. I may have messed that up completely, but
No.
there's some like play between those three components that's supposed to
Hmm.
protect you from like subtle energy, like negative subtle energies or negative emotional energies, and also electromagnetic fields in our environment. So like, unnatural frequencies we've created, like cell phones, cell towers, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and all that stuff. So on like a physical level, it's supposed to like reduce the stress from all those things that are on our body by having it close to your body or on your body. So can we ask Mei Wen Ho, these pocket Orgonite, we can each just look at the one that's on our screen now, I guess for now.
Okay.
Is this effective at reducing stress from electromagnetic fields? We'll ask that first.
Is this effective from reducing stress from electromagnetic fields? Yes, it is. But bearing in mind the fields that we are being hit with nowadays are huge.
Yeah, so how much of an effect is this having uh, comparatively to all the massive fields that we have now in our modern environment? On a scale of 1 to 10, like how much protection are we getting from?
Scale 1 to 10. About a 3 or a 4.
Okay, and that's what I would have assumed. I think some of the problem with these devices that may have some beneficial effect is people will assume that they're getting 100% protection from them, and that's kind of like a false sense of safety, which can also be dangerous. So sounds like it might be worth it, but just make sure that you're also, limiting your exposure to these things on the other end. Because it's not a full, you don't have like a shield of invincibility around you when you put them on, it sounds like. So that's interesting that they're offering some benefit. The other ones, a lot of people, so these are like a pendant that you would have on your body. So can we ask her, would you have to have it like in contact with your skin, or can it be in your pocket to be effective, or does that matter?
Does it need to be in contact with the skin? Um, Not necessarily, but what if you wore it as like a necklace or something like that? I mean, it's almost like wearing it central to the chest area is
No.
beneficial. What about a pocket? No, no, the pocket, because you need the field to this thing absorbs it, for what it's worth, it does absorb some of the waves.
Mhm.
some of the field? And does it see, my question is this: what does it do with it uh when it absorbs the electromagnetic things that we are exposed to? What, like, because energy has to go somewhere,
Right.
right? And it cannot be created and it cannot be destroyed, but it can be transmuted.
I mean, that's
So
the terminology they use, but I don't think it's the same way you think you mean transmuted. So let's ask. In your definition of transmuting the energy, is it transmuting?
in my definition,
Yeah.
no.
Okay. And I think in their definition, it's like, I don't really don't actually don't know what they mean by when they say transmute, but that's what they say. Um, my theory on how this works would be it's not really doing anything to the actual fields themselves, but it's and within the own your own body, it's helping to like relieve the stress in maybe your own biofield or in the physical body itself. And why I say that is because I have devices to measure the EMF in the room. And when I bring these things into the room, they don't change anything to do with the fields in the room or on the person. But some people report feeling better from them. So I'm thinking that if it's having an effect at all beyond placebo, it's really affecting the person itself and reducing the stress on the person rather than having a big effect on the external forces.
Mm.
So can we ask Maywen Ho, is that more the case that these things are reducing the stress within the human being or the field around the human being?
Is it that they're reducing the stress or the field around the, it does taper it down some, yes, it does.
Right. Okay. And to your question, then what's happening when those energies are hitting this thing? Is it absorbing them? Is it reflecting them? Is it doing something else?
Mm. Is it absorbing the energy? It does do some absorption, yes. So my thing is, then where does it go, right?
Yeah, like is it impregnated with the energy?
Ooh, does it impregnate it with the energy? So what it actually does, for whatever reason, this combination, it causes it to the energy that it's absorbing to dissipate. It causes it to, it's like it breaks that energy up and then it just dissipates. So it's no longer recognized as an electromagnetic field energy.
Mm-hmm.
It does tend to, whatever that means, right? So it looks like there has to be certain things that create that energy field. This tends to break it all down.
So it
It
disrupts the
takes a
wave.
long time.
Uh, Okay. Yeah, it's
You
so
would,
it's
sorry, you would
I go.
need at least 5 of these things around your neck. Now, I don't know if you want to look like Flavo Flav back in the day, but no, seriously, like you would have to have a lot of these things. But something, she says something is better than nothing.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's how you should look at it. It's not a first line of defense, but it's definitely, if you're going to be in it anyways, it's going to help taper it off a little bit. There's also these that are made from the same substances that, and they're supposed to, you put them in the room. They're the same idea. They're a little bit bigger.
Hmm.
Are these, can we ask Mayman, how are these any more effective for the room that you're in?
The black tourmaline pyramid.
Yeah, there's different, they're made of different substances. So this one's black tourmaline, but yeah, we could ask about this one. Black
Black
tourmaline.
pyramid. Is that it is effective, but that sort of redirects the energy. You need to put some intention into that, but it
Mm,
does tend to redirect the energy. Again, the amount of energy that we're being hit with, what these things can do is very small.
yeah. Okay, fair enough. That was my initial suspicions as well. Okay. All right. Well, I would like to do a bigger EMF kind of probe. It's been on my list
Oh
for a long
yeah.
time. So yeah, we'll do that another time. So let's move on to the next contestant, which is I've never done it, but I've heard of it forever. incline bed therapy.
What?
Yeah, so if you look at this little picture here, you can see this kind of person
Hmm.
sleeping in a bed. The back of the bed is elevated, and so your head is higher than the lower part of your body. So you're sleeping on a slight incline. And this is supposedly has a lot of different benefits. Can we
Like
ask?
swollen feet?
Well,
No.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that'd be the obvious thing is like poor circulation. I would
Oh.
think. But let's
But if you have if you have poor circulation though, wouldn't you be in the opposite direction? Because you need to preserve the brain and the organs. So you would need to the blood to flow in the opposite direction.
well, I think the body is naturally pumping it that way, right? And so it's used to us being upright as humans, right, most of our day and pumping the blood back up. But if you have a circulation problem, it's usually because
Mm.
it's not reaching where the destination where it needs to go, which is, all the other organs and everything, the downward direction. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. That's just what I would think. Um,
Hmm.
but
Right. But this is, I mean, this would, to me, this screams like you would need to be almost in optimum, just my personal opinion. We'll see what happens when we get into the probe, but I would say that you need to be in like optimum health to even do this. And maybe it's causing your heart to pump harder
mm,
because of that decline downwards or whatever
maybe.
reverse decline. Does it cause the heart to pump work more? Yeah, so it's causing the heart to work more as you're asleep, but you have to be in optimum. See, even she said that you have to be in optimum health to even do this, right?
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Listen,
Because of it, yeah, like
I've
if you have a
studied
bad
this.
heart condition, for instance, it would not be maybe a good idea to make the heart work harder. Is that an example?
Well, it could be that the heart can't work harder,
Right.
right? So you have to look when people are suffering low blood pressure, they have to elevate their feet because the most important thing to do is to preserve the brain and the organs, right?
Yeah.
And that's how the body works. It always preserves, like, what is going to sustain life, right? Is it blood going down to the feet? No, you can actually keep the body alive without the legs, right? And
Right.
the extremities, which is why the blood needs to be in the organs and in the brain. So you would go in reverse to this picture when somebody is suffering from a low blood pressure. What you do is you lay them back and you elevate their feet.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with this, so maybe they also have this as a like a protocol. I'm not sure.
Mm,
But
good grief.
but could we ask, okay, so let's ask about the benefits of this to may want to
Okay.
know. Is this beneficial to people that are in a healthy state? Is there any added benefits to doing this
This is
overall?
beneficial to people that are in a healthy state. Not really, because she's talking about the energy flow, right?
Okay.
And and I'm saying, what this would be something that you do, maybe temporarily, as
Uh,
in how long? Maybe like 30 minutes. But this is not something you want to do on a
all night.
regular basis because she's giving the example, it's like sitting on an airplane. The blood is pooling in a particular area of the body. I mean, you have to be in top-notch shape to be able to handle this on a regular basis. So I don't know who this bloke is. I mean,
Yeah, it's a
I
thing. Yeah, it's definitely a thing I've heard of. I've never done it. I don't think it's just this bloke, but it's there's a bunch of people that are advocating it for different reasons. Okay.
hmm.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next one. This one is called the LifeWave X39 patch. So you can see this lady here is holding up this patch. You basically put it onto your body and we're gonna find out. It supposedly is releasing light and increasing. I think the big thing they're talking about is stem cell activation. So,
Hmm.
so let's ask Mei Wen Ho. First of all, like on a scale of 1 to 10, is this thing beneficial compared to all the other things that we will probe and probe? Like, is this thing actually doing what it's claiming to do?
No.
Okay. Um,
It scores a 1.
okay. So, and I didn't want to say anything before I'm like we did the probe because I'm biased to this because I already know about these things.
You
I try.
do?
Yeah, I like people have always like people give them to me all the time. Like not all the time, but there's been multiple times where people will give them to me. And they're like, use this thing. It's the best. Like it's amazing. Blah blah. And I hadn't noticed any different from it. But I mean, that's me. Like I'm in really good shape. So sometimes I'll try something that's like it's not going to move the needle for me because I'm already there, right? But so I give it the benefit of the doubt. But I know someone who's actually tested these now, because they claim to release like light frequencies, and he's not really being able to locate how this thing would work at all. So I've always been skeptical of it. The other thing that I didn't like about it was that it was kind of like operating off like an MLM platform where people are like, multi-level media type thing, which, if you have a good product, I'm sure that doesn't matter, but the red flag always comes up initially for me when I see that, just because there's been so many things that aren't good that comes out of that system. But yeah, I mean, so can we ask Maywan Ho, is it releasing like light frequencies at all?
Is it releasing light frequencies at all? No. So what is multi-level? What is that?
Oh, it's like I mean, some people would call it like not to be derogatory, but just some people would say like a pyramid scheme, or like it might not be a scheme, but it's just the way that it
Oh,
works, where it's like, you have people that sell underneath you, and then you get a, kickback
oh
from them
God.
and kickback from them, which I'm sure there's some products that may be good that work under that model, but I mean, the majority of that system, I think, has been abused by products that aren't good and just people kind of farming people.
Hmm.
So, um,
Look, here's my philosophy on advertising. If it's a really great product, you don't even need to advertise it, right? People will find it because everybody will be talking about it. You don't
so
need to advertise things. I mean, products that really work and that they're like a miracle product. Everybody's talking about it. They don't need to spend any money on advertising.
So my question again for this thing is because people are telling me like they have good experiences with this thing, and I personally didn't notice anything. But is there a placebo effect there for these
Is
people that
it what?
are
Yes.
okay? Which, hey, don't knock the placebo effect, right? It's
No.
very powerful. It's just you don't want to spend a ton of money to activate it because it's free, right? So
Right.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of like your good luck charm, right?
Yeah. If you believe in it, it can work, but just don't, spend $1,000 on the good luck charm.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
also
It's
turn
like
a
my kid's blanket. He can't go anywhere without it. And if he does, he's gonna have a terrible day.
right.
Um
So I don't
But
want to
yeah, I mean,
discount
it's
the
very powerful. If he has
yeah.
his blanket, he's good and it's a good day. And if he doesn't have his blanket, well, you know what? It's not going to be a good day.
Yeah,
You're right. The belief is everything.
right. Yeah, and I don't want to discount, people out there that are listening that have had good
Hmm.
experiences with this, right? I don't want to put anybody's experience down. I know people won't like that, but that's just the data that we're getting. So do with it what you will. Um,
Yeah. If it works for you, then do it. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, well, I think that's all that I have on my list for
Okay.
today. So if you guys want to submit like a health thing and have us go over it, and maybe we'll do a bigger one if it's really good. You need to be a Discord member. It's a lot of people are requesting stuff, but you really got to be a Discord member for us to, those people take priority for our requests for sure. because they're supporting us and we really appreciate them. So how do they become members to also submit their own requests?
They go to patreon.com/remote viewing and beyond. Yeah, come over and join us. We have fun over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
All
a
right.
safe space to discuss lots of different things. So yeah, come join us.
Absolutely. All right. Well, if anybody wants to get a hold of me for a consult, obviously I do crypto stuff and I also do health consults as well. This is, something that I do obviously is like a bit more of a day job on the side. So, my email is in the comments. If you want to know more about that, send me an email and yeah, I'll send you all the details. So yeah, we hope to see you on the Discord.
Absolutely. See you on the flip side.